So I'm out this morning doing a little bit of some tracking, and came across this path here. And this is really just a dirt road that's primarily used for just pedestrians. And we're going to take a little look at this and see how can we apply these principles of tracking on a very, very busy path. And this actually becomes a very fun game. So let's take a look. Oh, so here we are. We're on this dirt road. And here we can see there is so many tracks. And with so many tracks, how can it be possible to track anything? Well, actually, these areas become really fun because it's fun to find out who is who and how far can we follow them. So here we might see, here's a human track right here. Okay, so that's a human footprint, and it looks like it's kind of going in that direction. See that there is a vehicle here. We see that there is some bicycles that have been here. Lots of humans. But look what I found right on over here. I found a trail. And if we zoom in here, see there's a track here that has a little kind of indentation here, like that little teardrop or like a half moon. Now from the other tracking video, we learned how this is likely a hoof print. And because I know this area fairly well, and I know there isn't any elk out here and there's no gazelles that I'm aware of, or antelope, I'm assuming this just may be a deer. Now we want to ask, well, which direction is this deer heading in? Now, if you remember from the tracking video, you see how there's the point here and the point here, so it's kind of like that ship that's kind of plowing through the water. You see that the deer is likely heading in this direction. So what I went ahead and did and circled all the different tracks amongst these right here. And so we can see how the next question I want to ask, well, which is the left foot, which is the right foot? So here we see through this line I drew that this first one is just a little bit on the left. So I'm assuming that is the left feet. And then you go up, there's the right. Okay. Go up a little bit and see that one's a little bit on the left. This one's a little bit on the right, and so forth. And on it goes up this very busy path. Now the next thing we're going to ask, like, okay, well, which foot might be the front and which foot might be the back? So if we come up here, let's take a look at this one. Now we're looking at the right side. And on the right side, we see there's a little bit of a track right here and a little bit of one right here. Now, from the other video, if you looked at some of the gaits, you'll notice how deer has a tendency to put its rear foot just almost on top of where its right foot was previously. And so we can see how this one right here, it's a little bit behind this one. So I can assume this is the rear foot. And this is the rear right foot. The front right foot. Now when it's almost directly on top of each other, that's called an indirect register. If it was directly on top like we see the cats do, that is called a direct register. Now, if we look just a little bit over here, look at this. That's another animal. Let's take a look. See if we can get a picture from here. Yeah, look at that. So here we see there's some toes right through here. And these marks are those claw marks. All right, so now we're seeing where the claws are, where the toes are. Here's where the pad would be, right? Now we have to ask, okay, so what has claws? Now we know that cats have those retractable claws, so it's likely not a cat, so it must be a canine. So here is a canine animal following deer. Now, if we look, if this is a wild canine and it isn't tracking deer, we could assume that it's probably coyote, since we don't have wolves around this area here. So here we're picking up a little bit of the story that is happening in this place. We start to ask, well, where did deer come from? So here we are. Deer must have came from somewhere in here. It comes out on this trail. And then somewhere along the line, Coyote sniffed out deer and came right up on to the tracks of deer. And so we followed deer. Now deer went from there. Deer is going down this nice human path. Wonder where deer is going. Did Coyote find deer? The plot thickens and mystery leads us in. And so that is some basics of tracking. Oh.